Young people, welcome back. Guys, what we got today? We got chapter 8, lesson 6, solving x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. First objective, factor trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. And the second objective, solve equations of the form x squared plus bx equals c. Swap back. Students will be able to solve polynomials by factoring. Easy enough, right? Concept, polynomials, skill, we're gonna factor, and we're gonna solve. Let's get this thing started. All right, guys, there's my handout. Looks like 26 questions. That ain't nothing. Let's get it. Guys, this is an enjoyable one. And when I say enjoyable, once you kind of understand and you get it, you got it. So we like to call these simple trinomials because the coefficient of the first term is 1. So 1t squared, 1p squared, they're all 1. So when it's that way, I use my technique that you're gonna see and it's gonna get explained. But to get that trinomial, t times t is t squared, and 6 times 2 is 12. Now how do I know it's 6 times 2 and not 4 times 3? Because 6 plus 2 is 8. Boom. So next one, p times p squared, it's gotta be. 20 though, I got options. 4 times 5, 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and of course, which one is going to give me the middle term of 9p? Well, 4 and 5. So that's how I figure it out, right? Look at my options and choose the one that's gonna work for the trinomial. For number 5, n squared plus 3n minus 18. Well, now I recognize it's a negative 18. We've had positives, we had positives all before. So with a plus minus in my trinomial, I'll say that again, with a plus minus in my trinomial, I know one has to be positive and one has to be negative. So my options for 18 are 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and 3 times 6. So which one of those, not when you add them, but when you find the difference? Because again, one of those is a positive and one of those is a negative. So what's the difference between 1 and 18? 17. What's the difference between 2 and 9? 7. But the difference between 3 and 6 is 3. That's what we want. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna decide. Should I make it n plus 3 or make it n plus 6? Well, I want a positive to be the greater value because the middle term is positive. And in the end, guys, ain't nothing wrong with a check. So n plus 6 and n minus 3, n squared, 6n, negative 3n, and negative 18. Collect the middle terms, and boom, I got it, it's checked. Because the middle terms add up to positive 3n. And there it is, guys. So let's knock her out. Number 7. Y squared minus 5y minus 6. Well, again, I got a minus. And when I say minus, I'm talking about the trinomial. Y squared minus 5y minus 6. So with the minus, again, I know I gotta have a positive and a negative inside of the two binomials. Because for the last term to be negative, it has to be a positive times a negative. So I'm gonna fill in a positive times a negative. And what values am I going to choose? What multiplies to give me 6? Not a lot of choices. To multiply to get 6, you're going to get 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. That's it. Those are your only choices. So 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Now again, I'm not adding them, so what's the difference? 5 and 1. Well, I need the middle term to be negative 5. So I found it. But be careful. Do I want to say y plus 5 or do I want to say, y plus 1 or y plus 6? And again, doing your check and verifying that you got your terms in the right place is ideal for all of these, right? For number 9, r times r gives you the r squared, but again, with a plus minus, I know that one of these will be positive and one of them will be negative because to get a negative 12, I need a positive times a negative. So positive 2 times negative 6, or positive 4 times negative 3, or positive 1 times negative 12, you know one needs to be negative. So negative 1 times 12, that gives me negative 11. Don't want that. What's next, right? You got 1 and negative 12. Well, that would add up to negative 11. Then 2 and negative 6, which adds up to negative 4. Negative 2 and positive 6, which adds up to positive 4. So which one works out for what we need in the middle term? The last one. So now by putting the negatives in the positive, like I did not do in 7, but when I did that in 9, now I see that, oh, r minus 2 and r plus 6. Got it. Let's do it again, right? Let's do it again. Number 11, w squared minus w minus 6. Again, recognizing the trinomial has a minus minus. So I need w times w, of course. But now, to get a negative 6, I need a positive times a negative. And we already got our options for 6 right about there, right? So 2 and 3. And my brain kind of goes, oh, negative 1? I'll just negative 3 and a positive 2. When added, give me negative 1. So again, I can use the box to check it, show the diagonal, and verify that middle term is what we need. We still got 13 and 15, so let's keep moving. 13, x squared minus 8x plus 15. I have a minus plus. I have a minus and a plus. Hold up now. Oh, I get it. A negative times a negative is a positive. So 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. Well, 3 times 5, when added, 3 and 5, you get 8. So I got it. Negative 3 and negative 5 add up to negative 8. So that's the first time I think I've shown it like that, where the negative times the negative gives me positive 15, but the negative 3 plus the negative 5 gives me negative 8. And that's our middle term. So there it is. Got my answer. And again, feel free to check. 15t squared minus 15t plus 56. And again, what does the trinomial tell you? The trinomial tells you I gotta have a negative negative. And why a negative negative? Because the only way to get a positive 56, but to have the middle term add up to a negative, both have to be negative. So negative 8, negative 7 add up to negative 15. But everybody knows. 8 times 7, 56, right? So guys, that's just the factoring component. And again, the more you factor, the better you're going to get at it. You'll get faster. There are actual handouts or resources that I give my students so that if they don't know what multiplies to give you 49 but adds up to 14, there's a piece of paper they can look at, boom, and it'll show them the answers. So if it's not coming to you like this, don't worry, because there's resources out there for you. So here we go. I got a positive. Okay. Ooh, I'm not even wasting no time. What multiplies to give you 12? It adds up to 7. 4 and 3. I like it. Number 4, what adds up to 9, but those same numbers would multiply give you 18. There it is, 6 and 3. 6 plus 3 is 9, but 6 times 3 is 18. So for number 6, here I am. Hold up. I don't have positive anymore. I have a positive negative. So here I go with one of these needs to be x plus, and the other one needs to be x minus. Number 8, looks like we're just taking care of our binomial signs. This is a skill I teach my kids when we get to this. Before you even start thinking about the values, think about the signs. So for 8, positive, negative. For 10, positive, negative. For 12, I guess we're not going to 12. Back to getting the answers. So of course, x times x, and then negative 8, but a positive 2. So a positive 4 and negative 2. For our number 8, negative 10, of course. 5 times 2 gives me 10, but I need a negative. And when that negative is added to that positive, you end up with positive 3, so 5 and negative 2. For 10 now, again, well, I'm writing it out. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. So, to get 12, we have more negatives, right? There's more negatives going on in this one. So for 10, we're looking at a negative 12. Well, to get negative 12, you gotta have a negative times a positive. Well, 1 minus 12 is 11. 2 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 4 is 1. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for 1. But I have more negatives, so the 4 has to be negative, because when I end up with the trinomial, you end up with a negative 1x. All right, so make sure when you pick your two numbers, you know which one should be positive and which one should be negative. Well, I'm going to need more negatives here than positives because the middle term was negative. And then when I look at 12, this one switches it up on me. I got a negative positive. So it adds up to be a negative, but when multiplied, it gives me a positive. Okay? Negative, negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. So negative 2 plus negative 4 gives me negative 6, which is my middle term. Nothing's changing. B squared minus 9b plus 8. Again, negative, positive. My brain knows both binomials will have subtraction because negative times negative is a positive. So what times what gives me 8? But those same two numbers when added give me 9. 8 and 1, you got it. For 16, I'm looking for two numbers. Oh, what? Curveball. You know, throw a curveball, like the ball in your hand. Like, I don't know, I play football. But shout out to the DeSotos. Cal Poly St. Louis Pisco. Play my football there. And guys, I gotta rewrite this one. And the reason why I had to rewrite it is it don't even look right. The first term was a negative 4. So I put it in standard form, right? M squared minus 3m minus 4. So m times m gives me the m squared, and then of course again, if the last term is negative, I need a positive and a negative. So there's my positive 1 and my negative 4, because again, when I multiply 1 times negative 4, I get negative 4. When I add 1 and negative 4, I get negative 3. So that is my check. That's my verbal check, but always know you can use the box to do a check. So guys, we are done with skill 1. Factoring. Now we're going to incorporate skill 1 to accomplish skill 2, which is solving. So before we get it up here, guys, I want to make sure we recall the zero product property rule, or I would say rule, I say property. Property is a rule. So zero product property, ZPP, as I call it in my classroom. Any two things multiplied that equal 0, either both or one of those things is 0. So if A times B equals 0, then either A is 0 or B is 0 or both A and B are 0. That's what we're going to use to do this. We're going to get two binomials, and they're going to use ZPP. So factor it, x squared minus 6s plus 8. Multiplies give you 8. 2 times 4, 8 times 1. That adds up to negative 6. Oh, 2 and 4 give me 6. So since it's negative positive, my brain again goes up. Minus minus. X minus 2. And x minus 4 are my two binomials, and now the zero product property. Since those two binomials multiplied equals 0, then either x minus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0, and now I solve that one step. Didn't show the plus 4 or the plus 2 on both sides, but we're okay. So guys, checking it. If I'm saying x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 4, then let's make sure that I actually did it correctly. Plug in 2. For x, 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 8, 4 minus 12 plus 8, well, negative 8 plus 8 checks out. But we got two values, so now it's 4 to the second power, minus 6 times 4, plus 8 should equal 0, right? Because that's what the equation said. And if 4 is the solution, it will be true. 4 squared is 16, 16 minus 24 plus 8. Well, 16 and 8 is 24, so 24 minus 24, I got it. So, looks good, feels good. I know it's good. And let's keep it going, guys. So we're not going to do a check for all of them, but definitely recognizing what we need to do our checks. So for 18, again, simple trinomial. Invisible 1. B squared minus 7b plus 12. I got a negative positive. So therefore, my two binomials must be a negative, negative. Multiply to give me 12, but add up to a negative 7. And again, guys, if your numbers are good, you're going to blow by this, right? 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 plus 4 is 7, but I see it's negative 7, so be careful. B minus 3 must equal 0, or B minus 4 must equal 0. Do the inverse operation. Add 3 to both sides, got B equals 3. Add 4 to both sides, B equals 4. Let's make some room. Because we're doing the same thing. Number 19, m squared plus 5m plus 6. Again, this one I see positive, positive. Well, if it's positive, positive, then those two binomials must be positive, positive, right? So m plus something and m plus something. Now again, guys, you got options because, and I think I'm thinking about my option there, right? I didn't like 1. 1 times 6 would add up to 7. But 2 times 3, when I add 2 or 3, I get that middle term of 5. So this is where I separate into my 2 equations, meaning either m plus 2 must equal 0, that's an equation, or m plus 3 must equal 0, and that's an equation. And again, guys, not showing my 1 step, just doing the 1 step. Number 20, d squared plus 7d plus 10 equals 0. And again, guys, I see it, I recognize it, I know what to do. I'm not lost, I know where to go. I'm going to take a right. And that right tells me that 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So now after my right, I'm going to go left. D plus 2 equals 0, and D plus 5 equals 0, using the zero product property. Solve those 1 steps. D is equal to -5, and my other equation, D must equal -2. And those are my 2 solutions. Again, guys, plugging that into the original equation, checking to make sure that it does equal 0. Make some room. All right, so we're burning through these guys, but it's not going to change until the next one. Y squared minus 2y minus 24. Again, simple trinomial. Simple because your y squared has an invisible 1. And now I see minus, minus, so my brain goes 1's negative, 1's positive. Only way. If that last term is negative, then you have opposite signs. And now I gotta play with it. 24, 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8. Oh, I got it. And I got it because I'm pretty good with numbers. When I see difference, what 2 numbers that multiply give me 24, when subtracted give me 2. And you gotta choose which one should be negative and which one should be positive. That's why earlier I said more negatives, right? So in this one, I needed more negatives. So the -6 instead of the -4. Now 22 is when my curveball comes, it doesn't equal 0. 22 says p squared minus 3p equals 18. No, must equal 0 in order for me to solve to solve the way we've been solving it, right? By factoring. Subtract 18 from both sides. Now the right side equals 0, but of course, p squared minus 3p minus 18, now it looks the way I want it. What multiplies give me a -18, but adds up to a -3. If I need my options, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and 3 times 6. Out of those 3, which gives me a difference of 3? Yeah, 6 minus 3 is 3. And of course, the 6 must be negative because the middle term is negative. I set up my first equation, p minus 6 equals 0. Set up my second equation, p plus 3 equals 0. And of course, add 6 to both sides for the first equation, subtract 3 from both sides for the second equation. And again, guys, if you're not checking all of them, I recommend checking every 3rd one, every 5th one, because you're gonna make a mistake. But understanding the concept and the skill, I feel good that hopefully you feel good. 23, h squared plus 2h equals 35. Again, if your teacher tells you to solve this by factoring, step 1, set the equation equal to 0. Working underneath this time, subtracting 35 from both sides. Recognizing I didn't put the minus 35 anywhere particular because it's not a like term. I know that I'll be creating my trinomial, my simple trinomial. I got a plus minus. So since it's plus minus, h plus something and h minus something, and again, my brain starts to think, but multiplies will give me 35, but it also gives me a difference of 2. Oh, I know. Sometimes I'm a little slower than the video, right? 7 and 5. And of course, we're gonna solve that by doing the 1 step. And of course, don't forget to box those beautiful answers. All right, guys, looks like we've got just 3 left. And I think, like most handouts, they save the best for last. And they save the most challenging for last, right? But if you understand the concept, the curveball won't get you. If you understand the skill, then the mistakes will not hinder you. So a squared plus 14a minus 45. We got to set it equal to 0, so we'll do the opposite of subtracting 45 or the opposite of negative 45. My new equation reads a squared plus 14a, what? Plus 45 equals 0. And again, I'm already thinking, all right, multiply is going to be 45 and adds up to 14. No minuses, no subtraction, no negatives in here, so it's a plus and a plus. And everybody knows their fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. 9 times 5 is 45. Therefore, a plus 5 is equal to 0, or a plus 9 is equal to 0. And please recognize that I did not show the zero product property rule there. As soon as I said those two binomials are equal to 0, I skipped it and just said the opposite. So a equals -5, and the opposite, a is equal to -9. Show your work though, guys, show your work. For 25, again, we really got things out of position. Our middle term is now on the other side of the equal sign, but it doesn't stop me from understanding what we like to call standard form. And standard form means it's in order. N squared minus 5n minus 36. Oh, I gotta work it out. 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, 6 times 6. Now, which one of those gives me a difference of 5? Oh, 4 and 9. But again, who should be negative and who should be positive? Well, the middle term, the negative 5n tells me out of those two choices, 4 and 9, 9 has to be negative. Because when I add 4 and 9, you get 13. But when you add a negative 9 and a positive 4, you get negative 5. If you add a positive 9 and a negative 4, then you get positive 5. We did not want positive 5. So it's good to make those mistakes when you're doing this, so your brain starts to make those connections of, oh, it does matter when I'm placing my constant inside of my binomial. So here we are again with the middle term out of whack. Didn't even show the inverse, just went ahead and wrote w squared minus 11w plus 30 is equal to 0. And again, 6 and 5. 6 plus 5 adds up to 30. But 6 plus 5 gives me a positive 11. So therefore, again, I'm recognizing w minus 5, w minus 6. So therefore, my answers will be positive because solving the one step after the zero product property will give me w minus 5 equals 0. So w must equal positive 5. And of course, w minus 6 equals 0. So therefore, w would equal positive 6. Guys, I love it when a plan comes together. Shout out to the A team. See you next time.